It's not often that you have serving foreign ministers writing books on foreign policy. Dr. Jaishankar has done this twice over. He had the India way and now he has his second book out, Why Bharat Matters. And I'm here at Nehru Park, ironically of all places, to talk to India's current External Affairs Minister, Dr. Jaishankar, about Indian foreign policy, which you're pivoting as far away from Nehru Park as is possible. So the irony of all places to end up at the Nehru Park to talk about why you believe much more in the Patel way than you do in the Nehru way.
Well, it's a great pleasure, and I'm very agnostic about parks in which I walk. I'm quite all right with the people with whom I walk. I think that's more important. But yes, it's a great pleasure to be with you.
So the title of your book is Why Bharat Matters. So let me get you to summarize the contents for those who haven't got down to reading it yet. In your opinion, on the global high table, why does Bharat matter at the moment?
I think for a variety of reasons, and you'll get the full message when you read the book. One, we are today a much larger economy. That's a starting point. Fifth largest economy, will be the third largest in the next few years. The quality, the talent of our people, which is today in a sense being, you can say, being unleashed, being nurtured and put out there, which matters more in a more tech-centric world. So as there is a global workplace, as technology becomes more important, the people will matter, and I think Indian talent is today beginning to make a difference across the world. The third is actually, in a way, we are getting our act together. We are getting our act together in India. So you can see much greater interest in the part of the rest of the world. One part of it is, of course, they want to work with us, they obviously want to interested in the Indian market, but the other part is they appreciate the contributions we are making. It can be in very tangible terms, like during COVID, where we were such a major vaccine provider to the world. 100 countries got their vaccines because of us. But it could matter as a voice. The idea of a voice of a global south, the fact that we led the move for African Union to become a member of the G20. I use the word Bharat because I do believe that in the last decade there's been evolution, even a transformation of India. We are much more cognizant of our history, of our culture, of our heritage. We are more authentically us. We are less abashed, less defensive about what we believe in, what are our habits, our customs. So in a way, I would say the Indian personality is also beginning to be displayed on the world stage, and that, to my mind, really it's of course a big point of interest for the world, but it's in that sense an India that is more Bharat.
And that comes through quite strongly in your book, because you try once again to use different stratagems from the Mahabharata and the Ramayana, which I see you're trying to do quite consciously, because Indian strategic analysts grew up reading, say, a Machiavelli, American generals from the Second World War. Even Sun Tzu was quoted much more than Mahabharata and Ramayana. You're trying consciously to change that?
Yes, I'm trying to change that because it comes as a package. If today we say vocal for local, if you say one district, one product, you say make in India, that's in a material way this Bharat expressing itself. But Bharat must also express itself intellectually. Why must you go searching for an example from the Greek civilization or Roman history or Chinese classics? And I have nothing against that. Sure. I mean, by all means, we should do that. But when you have something right by your side, and it isn't just that you have it right by your side, you actually, it's something which, everyone, you ask anybody in India, they will immediately relate to it. They'll relate to it much more than, as you say, they would relate to Machiavelli or Sun Tzu. So it's a form of communication too, that if I give you an analogy with which you've grown up with, a saga that you know instinctively. You get it.
You were on a sabbatical of sorts away after finishing up at the Ministry of External Affairs when you wrote your first book, and then from there you've got Why Bharat Matters. This is also an opportunity, sir, for me to look back and reflect on not just your term as Foreign Minister, but on 10 years of the Modi government's foreign policy. What do you rate as the #1 achievement of foreign policy in these 10 years? Do you think the kind of ties that Prime Minister Modi has been able to build with the Gulf Arab countries would rank as your #1 achievement, or how would you see it?
I could give you a whole list. Okay. I have given a whole list.
What's your #1 achievement?
I would say the #1 achievement is the people of India today realize that foreign policy matters to them, and Prime Minister Modi's government and Prime Minister personally in many ways, what's different about him is you can have a vision. He has the ability to take a vision and bring it, translate it to the ground reality. We have actually shown people how a good foreign policy can bring benefits to them. That today the price of petrol in your car is an outcome of foreign policy. The fact that you travel abroad, millions of Indians travel abroad. I can say confidently people travel in a more secure, confident manner than they did before, knowing that we have their backs. If you look at the last 10 years, we actually, Prime Minister got us to not just create a fund, but actually develop it over a period of time. So more than I'd say 3.2 lakh Indians in various difficult situations have actually drawn on that fund. You had cases like Operation Ganga in Ukraine. There are many. We just had one, Ajay in Israel, or Kaveri in Sudan. So the idea in a globalized world that we have your back not only at home, but we have your back abroad. Our choices are helping national development. So today, if you look at collaborations of various kinds, which are outcomes of foreign policy, or if you look at, I would say, best practices, even technology, or even exports. You look, exports have grown very significantly in the last 10 years. Exports mean employment. So I would say a foreign policy that makes a difference to the lives of people, that to me is one very big change. Now, that change manifests itself in different places. In the Gulf, yes, absolutely. I would say if there's one region which has undergone absolute sea change, it is actually India's relations with the Gulf.